Welcome to my smartphone photography course. So this course is not for people who want to learn how to use a camera, but it's for people who have a smartphone and maybe run a business or work in a business and want to produce stunning social media imagery. Only because we're going to be using a smartphone, and the majority of smartphone cameras don't or are not equipped with a camera that will give you a high enough resolution image to use on a website. Generally, the high quality photography and photographs for your websites really do need to be taken on a professional camera, and that's when people like myself, professional commercial photographers, come into play. As you can see by these two images, the first one is taken on a phone, and once it's increased in size you can see it's quite pixelated. The second one, however, increased to the same resolution, is from a professional camera, and that's incredibly clear and crisp. So that's the reason why this course is for social media only. So before we actually start doing any photography with our phones, I want to go through some bits and pieces. In this first lesson one, before we begin, is how to set ourselves up for success, and I want to take you through the types of images that you can create with your phone and the genres that you can look at. I'm going to take you through backgrounds, light, and how to use it, where to place your objects to get the best images at different times of day, and finally how to do your phone settings. So let's jump straight in and have a look at backgrounds. Now, depending on whether you're a product or a service industry, it will depend on types of backgrounds that you use. Backgrounds give you a clean look. However, if you're taking pictures of people in a meeting, then you're not going to be able to rush in with a backdrop before you take it. However, if you were taking some products or want to set up a cup of coffee with a notepad and a pen just to say, having some brainstorming meetings today, can't wait to find a solution for this particular problem, then a backdrop is great. So I have tons of coloured stiff card, and these are all from Hobbycraft, or the range in the UK. So I think Hobbycraft is in some other countries, but any craft shop will give you these at this sort of size. They're fairly flexible, and you can see you can get them in various different colours. Obviously this one's pink, but I've got olive green, blacks, reds, lots of different decorations and variations. Polyboards are also great, again from Hobbycraft, and you can get 4 of these for £1. You can get them in black as well. And you can make your own. So I've got a polyboard here, and a client of mine likes a lot of hers shot in front of a wood style. So I've gone to my decorating store, my local decorating store, and taken samples of wallpaper, and then you can just paste them on or stick them on with sellotape onto polyboards. You can get brickwork, wallpaper, you can get flowers, anything. And yet you can get them on Amazon as well. But I think the DIY wallpaper and polyboards is great. It's cost effective, and it's also great because you can make it bespoke to your client. So completely free wallpaper samples. So get down to your local DIY shop. Now, looking at props, depending again on the type of business, flowers are really good. I've got lots and lots of flowers. They're all fake flowers, but as a background, and depending on where you place them, they can become blurry and just look really pretty in the background. You can use fruit, if you're a perfume or a beauty product company, you can use fruit or any extracts that are within that. Anything that relates to your business and the photograph you want to compose, get a box and collect them. You'll find lots of things around your house. It could be anything from a coffee cup to a knife and fork. So let's look at light. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you're using a smartphone or you're using a professional full frame camera. You need to work and understand the light. The place to start is using natural light. It is the best light. Diffused natural light is the top choice. So when you're outside, for instance, and it's bright blue sky and there's not a cloud anywhere in sight, that's not really a great type of light to photograph in, because it's going to cast harsh shadows on your subject and everything will look very stark, bleached and very whited out. So definitely avoid midday sun. If you want to shoot something outside, go for a day where it's muted with a bit of cloud cover. Hazy sunshine is also beautiful, and somewhere where the sun's not directly shining onto where you are shooting, because it's not going to be a good look. The best times of day is sunrise and sunset, and that's where you get a softer, moodier light at those times in the summer. And hopefully it's not raining, but you get that kind of golden, beautiful light at those times of the day. But again, it all depends on the type of photograph you're trying to create. I use in my studio, obviously studio lights, you can see behind me for lots of product photography, but I do also sometimes use natural daylight that's coming through my window here. And I've got a roller blind that is basically, well, it just diffuses a little bit so I don't get any of those harsh shadows. You could use a shower curtain or a voile panel, anything that diffuses the light and makes it softer for you to avoid those shadows. So avoid midday sun, avoid days where the sky is bright and blue, and get muted cloud. Remember also, if you're photographing something in a window, it's not going to give you the greatest picture, because what will happen is the light coming through the window will actually silhouette your objects. We've seen this on the Zoom calls we're all doing at the moment. Somebody sat in front of their window and all you can see is a black outline of them. So don't shoot towards the light, shoot side onto a window. And you can even do it on the floor, side onto a patio window, as long as it's diffused. Do remember that if you were shooting people with the sun behind you, they are facing the light, they're going to be squinting a little bit. So again, that's when you want to look at soft light cloud cover, not direct sunlight. So that's a potted version on how to use light when you're shooting with your phone camera, and try and get some lovely images all over your products and services by practicing in different light. Next, I want to look at the types of images that you can create. So obviously you can create any image you want, but there are a few genres to think about when you're actually shooting. Always, before you start, is the best thing to do is just take a look, research what others are doing in your industry. Don't ever copy directly, but try and get an idea of the style that they're shooting. And if it's something you want to build on, then research lots and lots of other ideas. And if people are selling the same or similar products to you, see how they shoot them, what type of props they use, and how they make it look. Well, the first genre is food. Normally food is shot straight onto the dish or product above, like a bird's eye view, and we call that flat lay, which we're going to look at in lesson 2. The next one is lifestyle. So maybe you sell funky deck chairs that are more than a basic deck chair with fabulous fabrics, and you want to build up a picture of how people use your deck chairs for your followers to evoke that emotion and desire for potential buyers. Maybe you have a leopard skin chair, so you could place some bright pink props in and around it. Or you'd want to set up in a garden with a candelabra outside to put across that luxury product for a modern garden. You want to create that idea that your followers want to buy this chair and create that they're modern and cool just like your products. Now it works with similar products like perfume, props like roses, scarves, beautiful designer handbags. All creates that feeling that this perfume is very highbrow. It's the type of style that the people you're targeting and would like to have, and create that lifestyle that the viewer is thinking about, so that they think, I need that product in my life as well to go with my lifestyle that I love. Now the next genre is behind the scenes. It's a brilliant way to engage with your followers on social media. These are naturally shot when you're working with your staff or colleagues. So take some shots when you're having a meeting. Make sure you get them laughing, sat around a table, cup of coffee, pen, notepad on the table, and everyone smiling or concentrating on something. Snap that. If you're the social media person for a company, you should have this phone camera on all the time. You should be looking for opportunities to take behind the scene photography. That kind of thing works really well. People like it. They like to see what goes on behind a business. Product photography is another genre. So you want to make sure that the product is a very good view, crisp and sharp and in focus, so you can read any writing on the product. On the opposite side of that is services. It's a genre that you can still show, service-based businesses, taking a picture of someone offering the service or doing the service. So if you're servicing a gas boiler and you go into people's homes, you could have a picture of you with the clipboard or doing the service on the boiler, maybe some literature about your company, a tool that you use to service a boiler, even if it's just a screwdriver. If you arrange that nicely, it's a picture of your service and you can use it to sell your company. User-generated content is powerful. So for instance, you're a hamper company, you're sending out hundreds a day. People will inevitably take a picture of the hamper once they receive it and post, look at this amazing hamper from whatever hamper company. So you take that image and repost it under your social media and say thank you to the person who originally posted it. Now you obviously need to ask them first if you can, but that is user-generated content and it's very powerful because it's someone else saying how amazing your products are. Seasonal is one to consider. So Christmas, Easter, Halloween, all those kind of things, always put a seasonal post up. but not just because it's seasonal. Look at international days like months of the year, Women's Day, National Sleep Month, all those kind of things. If it's relevant to you, especially if you're a bed company, then you need to be posting in National Sleep Month or National Bed Month. So you can search on Google and get a national days calendar for that particular year, and you can just keep checking and doing things in advance. And our final genre is self-promotion. Now, believe me, nobody really likes self-portraits, but if you're a business owner, people will want to see who the person behind the business is. So once or twice a month, get a nice engaging post about what you're doing and a picture of yourself. If you're a nutritionist or a fitness coach, you could be putting up posts that are self-portraits of you doing exercise or making a drink. If you're making a smoothie as a nutritionist, you could put lots of things going into it and then drink it, get the massage, take a selfie, post it. It shows you're approachable and fun, and it's what people want. People love seeing what goes on behind the business, and people buy from people. So never exclude yourself being on your social media feeds. I know it's scary and frightening, but you can take as many pictures as you want. You don't have to settle for the first one, and you can stage them. So think about the type of images you want to create. Finally, for today's lesson, I want to show you how to set your phone up. Now, I'm going to admit I don't know all about the different types of smartphones, but what I do know is that every single manufacturer of phones will have guides on how to use their cameras. You can Google or look on YouTube, look at settings for your particular make and model. The purpose of this, I'm going to focus on an iPhone. I've got an iPhone 12. This has got a really great camera, and literally my whole life has changed recently because I used to have an iPhone 6 and I was caught in a contract. I couldn't upgrade, and finally I could. And while the iPhone 6 camera is okay and it's very good, I was taking some decent stuff with it. But oh my goodness, this iPhone 12 has changed my life when I want to create something quick for my Instagram feed. I don't need to bring out the main camera. So if you have an iPhone, and it doesn't have to be a 12, the majority of the iPhone cameras are very similar in their settings, then what you need to do is, and I'm going to put some images up, go into your settings, then go down to your camera. It's halfway down under composition. Find the button, turn on the grid. Now the grid is a 3x3 grid, and that helps you get your objects either in the center where you want them to be or slightly off center if you want that. But it really does help, and it makes you think before you take a picture about where you're placing your items. I would also select view outside the frame if you have that option, then because you can see exactly what you're cutting out. And if you don't want a particular thing to be cut out, you can move your frame or the item around so you can see before you take it. Lens correction and smart HDR, if you have that, pop it on. And if you've got scene detection, I'd have that one on as well, as it helps the camera notice things that you want to take. Now this is how I would set the camera up for an iPhone. For a Samsung and a Huawei and other types of phone manufacturers, go to the websites and Google how to set up my camera phone. There are so many out there, so there's no way I'd be able to go through each one. It'd be a very long video and probably very boring. So there you go. So we're all set up, ready to shoot an image in the next lesson. I'm going to be teaching you how to create a flat lay image, and I'm going to also show you how to build that story around that image and around a particular hero item. And then we're going to shoot straight onto a product and build that story. So this is the end of lesson 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any feedback, any comments below that you might have. So I really look forward to seeing you on the next lesson. And I hope that you are getting a lot out of this already. There's a lot of information in there, so please play it back. You have bought the course, so it's a lifetime access. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to, in the next lesson, help you get images that will create huge engagement on your feeds. So I'll see you in lesson 2. Bye bye for now.